We shall never forget 9/11, a kid's book of freedom. It's a coloring book, and we're joined from our studio in St. Louis by Dwayne Bell, who put together this coloring book. Thanks for joining us today.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me, Ezra.
Now, I have looked through your coloring book, and two things strike me. First of all, it is uncontroversial. It is a basic restatement of the facts, inviting people to color it. And the second thing is how even uncontroversial memories of that day today can be politically incorrect. Tell me what made you start this coloring book and the reaction you've had to it.
Well, we started the book for a very simple reason, and that's because people requested it, and they requested it different ways. One of the things that our company does is we collect a lot of research. We have web pages that span the world that have to do with the word coloring or coloring books. We mainly serve the English-speaking world in about 8 different countries, and we make coloring books on just about any conceivable topic that you could possibly think of. And years ago, people started typing into our search engines on our web page, coloringbook.com. They would type into the search engine the word 9/11, we shall never forget, firemen, coloring pages, Osama bin Laden, terrorists, all the key phrases that are associated with the event on 9/11. So what we did is we did a lot of research. We started talking to people. We got a team together of marketeers that work with our company, and we asked psychiatrists, we asked teachers, educators, firemen, police officers, a lot of our current customers. We asked a very simple question. If we were to make this book, what would you want to see in it? And the overwhelming request or advice that we got from customers was very simple. If you do make the book, do not make something that is politically correct. No more politically correct literature, and do not candy coat the facts. Those 2 things we did. The actual book itself came out on August the 3rd. And since then, the book has spanned the globe. It's simply amazing. I know that we have touched a lot of hearts with this book. The book, as of last night, was in 159 countries. People had downloaded it. They have read it. They have purchased it all over the planet. And I think the real issue that people have is that we really lay the facts out for what they are. The book itself is not designed for the backpack of a kindergarten child going to school. It's not for first, second, or third graders. It's for older children, children that would play video games, children that can already read. Hence the name graphic coloring novel. That's what we call it. We call it a novel, and it comes from the old Italian word novella, which means to tell the story anew. And so that's what we've done. We've told this story anew in a new format with graphic pictures that really aren't graphic at all, graphic in the sense that it's a printed graphic piece, and there's no blood and bones and all the terrible things that you would see on TV, like National Geographic's been playing on TV for the last week and a half.
I've been looking through the book, and I agree with you. It's tasteful, but it's blunt. Now, you don't blame all Muslims. You're very careful to say it's radical Islam. You name Osama bin Laden and things of that sort. To me, I find it refreshing, and I say this as a Canadian friend and ally of the United States, but not everyone has been so warmly receptive of your book. Can you tell me some of the controversial responses that you've received?
Yes, I can. I'll tell you a couple. One is right there in Toronto. There was a radio station, I believe it was 6:40 a.m., where I agreed to an interview. They prepped me. I got to the interview. We were live on air, and a radical imam came on air, and the first thing out of his mouth was, "You racist, bigoted, brainwashing redneck," and he berated me. I listened. I giggled and tried to laugh as much as I could, and then I expressed my love and gratitude for the Canadian people for all the books that they are purchasing, because we've sold this book in 600-plus cities in Canada, and I thanked them for their time, and I hung up, and then they berated me for 20 minutes.
Well, now, other than that one Toronto imam, and I think that was Steve Rockwell, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that's exactly who it was.
And I think he's out on the margins. We've invited him on this show to debate. He has declined. I think he's better at name calling, sir, than he is at debating.
He is.
But let me ask you, other than fringe characters like that, have you, for example, had any threatening feedback from radical Muslim folks, any fatwas or anything of that sort?
Well, we started getting calls from Al Jazeera, out of Washington, D.C. a few days ago. Of course, they didn't recognize themselves or name themselves, but we did a lot of quick research on the numbers and the call data, and we found out very quickly that the deputy news editor of Al Jazeera was calling here asking a lot of questions. They were also ordering books online, and they're having these books shipped to different locations. We've heard from Iranian TV. We've heard from Hamas. And so there are people that, our COO has contacted the FBI here in St. Louis and the Clayton, Missouri Police Department, which is our local police department. And so we've had some people that have been less than genuine, basically dishonest, and I think all of that started whenever there's a political organization here in the country that I believe decided in a strategic move to take this innocent, basic tool and to use it as their own political platform.
And do you want to tell me the name of that group? What's the name of that group?
They're called the Council on American Islamic Relations.
I'm familiar with them, and they don't much like criticism like yours. Now, let me ask you, have you decided to bend or to break, or are you going full steam ahead with this coloring book?
Oh, we're working full staff today fulfilling orders. This is full steam ahead.
Give me a guess. Give me a rough number. I don't want you to give me any commercial secrets, but rough numbers. Is this book a bestseller?
It is really, it's in the top 3, without doubt, in our company history.
And just in America, or how, you mentioned Canadian cities. What percentage of your sales are outside the United States?
I would say probably 8 or 10%, something like that. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe 1 in every 10, maybe.
And what kind of folks are buying them? Are they schools? Are they parents themselves? Who's buying these?
Well, there's a lot of educators buying the books in private Catholic schools for some reason. A lot of private Catholic schools. There's a lot of private schools in general. The public school system is steering clear. And there's a lot of political organizations that are buying the books and handing them out free at parades.
Why is it so successful? We only have a few moments left. Tell me, what is it about this that has struck such a chord?
It's this term right here. We say it in the book 10 times. It's called radical Islamic Muslim extremist. People do not like that. People hate that term in certain segments of the world. But that's what these 19 hijackers were. They were radical Islamic Muslim extremists. When you get on an airplane and you murder a bunch of people with it, you're not having a bad hair day. You're a radical, and that's what we call it. We lay it out as it is. This book is not about the Islamic faith. It's not about Islam. It's not about anything other than those 19 hijackers on that one single day that they brought terror. And that's something else that the Council on American Islamic Relations has done, is they call that day itself, internally, they call it a day of tragedy. Well, no, Hurricane Katrina, the tsunami in Japan, those are tragedies. This is terror. This is war. This is a long-term plan. They have to simply murder Westerners.
Wayne Bell, I got to interrupt you there only because we're out of time. I'm very grateful to you for joining us via Skype from St. Louis, Missouri, and telling your tales so boldly. I wish you good luck. And hey, folks, if you want to check this out, it's coloringbook.com. And remember, our American friends spell coloring without the U, so look it up correctly. Thanks, Wayne. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.